All right, welcome back to the Tyrian Trophy, our 5 vs 5 Battlecruiser Down tournament. Next is going to be Make Amarr Great Again versus Associated Seller Company. Apologies. So we've had some good fights so far, some good sparring, some good tapping, some brawling, some kiting. It's going to be interesting to see what we see for the rest of the tournament. Are things going to get even more out of hand, or are they going to become kind of more traditional? What are we going to see? We have no idea.
I'm holding out for another very, very quick match with two, overpowered brawling teams sitting at 0 on each other, just to see what would happen, see how fast we can finish one of these matches.
Right.
We'll be joined for commentating the next couple of matches by Lysis, Hard Knocks Championship fame. Lysis, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing pretty good. Really excited to be here in these matches. Pretty sure Make Amarr Great name again. Team name is wrong. It's Make Amarr Pure again.
Yeah,
Should be
instantly disqualified.
That might make more sense, and yeah, in which case they might be disqualified.
I think I'm gonna have to put money on Make Amarr Great again, simply from the Amarr loyalist point of view, and I'm gonna wager that Lysis might be doing something similar.
I would, yes. Yes, I'm ready. I want to see some good fights. DC down.
And here we see the first team arriving on grid. We'll go ahead and give you a preview before we actually cut to the arena. We see the Prophecy, Vexer, Executor, and Maulus team arriving at 50. This from the Volition Cult team. So interesting, them bringing the Prophecy, not only a high tank, but the ability to fit Lynx, and they also have an Executor. So this is our first Lynx plus Logi team that we've seen.
Second team landing on grid, and let me just scroll down. Indeed, they have brought an entire Amarr team, and you know what? I appreciate that. I appreciate the effort that's gone in right there. They do, however, two Omens in their lineup. The Omen, possibly the worst Tech 1 cruiser in the game, maybe apart from the Stabber, but the Stabber does have a couple redeeming features. I'm not sure about the Omen.
Well,
Omen Navy is good.
A lot of people like the Omen as kind of a bridge between the Mauler and the Arbitrator, where you can it can fit multiple roles. It's not great at anything, but it's decent at everything.
Of course, the Omen main problem is that, yes, it can do all these things, however, it has no cap. So once you start doing any of these things, it just caps out and you get caught and you die.
Which I guess cap stability is overrated if you are going with an Amarr team. So let's go ahead and...
Who needs cap anyway, exactly?
Which, let's also make the point, is the Omen Mauler team is coming at 0, while the Vexer Exec Prof team is coming at 50.
Yeah, it looks like the Volition Cult team has decided that, you know what, they don't like to start the match when told. They want to just start whenever they're ready. So they're moving around. They're pulling their drones back now. They're getting a little slap on the neck. Wind them back in.
So yes, looks like some rogue drones have been deployed and some damage has been taken. So we may have to
send some people off to repair.
Send some people off for a moment.
And the drones are still coming in from the Volition Cult. This is it's getting out of hand, boys. We've lost control of the tournament here. Both teams are just probably going to start brawling at any moment.
They're a little too ready, as these drones went ahead and got out of hand, and the Executor even pulled range before the countdown was called. Instructions a little unclear. Shoot as soon as you see things on site, as opposed to waiting for countdown.
These are some feral pilots.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys are they're ready to go. They just land on grid, they see targets, and you know what? They have to just shoot them.
Yeah, those are the Eve habits that vary. That we don't have access to the tools for this particular iteration of the tournament to prevent. So it happens.
So while we try and splash some water over some pilots' faces and calm them all down, just everyone take a deep breath. And let's all calm down to right. We can reset and we can have a fight. So one of the Make Amarr Great Again pilots, of course, he took a whole bunch of damage there, shield and armor. So he's warped off the field to repair. It's important to note the station in this system is not a seeded system, so he can't be buying other modules and refitting unless he had them in his hull to begin with. But that's not really in the spirit of the tournament. And also, they were the ones that got shot, so that would be a hell of a prediction to predict that the other team is going to start early, shoot you, and then use that time to refit.
All right, so it looks like we're about to get a rewarp, and then we'll be off to the races.
So in the battle cruiser for Make Amarr Great Again is Demes Kadesh. He was one of the other house champions of the Amarr Championship, possibly why he's in an all Amarr team. So I'm expecting to see some good piloting from these guys. He did see a lot of interesting fits in the Amarr Championship because, of course, everyone was limited to Amarr ships. So if you brought along your pulse lasers with your Scorch, that's fantastic normally, but shooting into Amarr ships, well, that's not so good. So a lot of people started to fly really oddball fits, such as autocannon maulers and things like that. It would be surprising, but very interesting if they'd gone for something like that here. Now, with the fact that they can bring all 4 races, I highly doubt that will happen, but it certainly would be interesting. There's something special about autocannon mauler.
Yeah, that's for sure. And the team's rewarping, so we can go ahead and get this countdown started in local.
Great. So let's switch our feed over to the arena, and we can get started as soon as the countdown starts. And now we are running now, so 1 minute to go. So Make Amarr Great Again coming in at 0. Probably looking at another brawl setup, although brawling in an Omen is always a bit of a dodgy tactic, so I'm a little bit surprised to see them in so close. However, in this case, it doesn't really matter because the other team have come in at 50 kilometers. Now they've got those 2 Vexors, so they're going to have a whole bunch of drones. The Mollis, that is going to probably be damping them down. An Executor to rep them, and a Prophecy just to eat up the damage.
Right. It's kind of what we were saying before. Is they definitely, if they have the links and they have the Logi, will they be able to pull the DPS to slowly pick apart this Amarr team?
Well, the addition of that Mollis might force the Amarr team to get in a lot closer than they'd like to be able to start applying any damage. So
exactly,
with
even
those
if they are
Vexor
beam
drones, exactly those Vexor
Right.
drones will be applying a lot of damage while they're closing distance. And with no Logi, that's damage you're never going to recover, as it were.
And
So we're seeing
off.
links up from the Make Amarr Great Again and from ASC.
Yeah, both teams
Both teams
immediately
boosting.
applying the burst, and look, the Executor is immediately taking all the damage. It looks like they are either beam fit or using Scorch and going for this Logi early.
The Mollusk, he's dodging back into the back lines where he's going to just start applying those damps to the ships that are rushing in. In this setup, perhaps maybe a Mollusk wouldn't be the best choice. Perhaps you wanted something that would get like an Arbitrator to do some tracking disruption. But again, that goes down to predicting the meta, and that's not very easy.
Right.
But a
Not
Mollusk
easy
against
to
a Brawl team is almost useless.
And the Logi going down, and the Omen starting to take some decent damage, but not serious.
Yeah, he's sitting tight there, and we're starting to see some damage get applied as well onto that Vexor of Kathleb. And you've got an Omen in half armor now, so that's a solid trade already. The ASC are down that Executor. They're limited in DPS. They don't have that 5th ship. They've only got 3 damage ships, and I mean the Prophecy isn't exactly known to be a mainline damage dealer. The Harbinger, on the other hand, is a strong DPS battlecruiser. So you have 2 DPS cruisers with the Omens, cap aside. You have the Maulers, which again they are able to put out a pretty decent amount of DPS, although they are mainly known for the Harbinger.
The Omen going down, but like you said, it just doesn't look like the DPS of this other team is able to take care of much more than that. That Prophecy is going to slowly burn down, but I don't know that they can take another one of these Maulers, Omens, or the Harbinger before those heavy damaged ships chew him away. And we might just see this Maulus either give in or leave the arena even.
Yeah, there's really very little ASC can now do. Was it wise to drop 2 DPS ships in favor of utility? I mean, perhaps dropping 1 for your Logi and then taking 4 DPS ships.
Right.
That can still be argued for. Or maybe taking your Ewar instead of a Logi, but dropping
Ewar, dropping
both for only 3 damage ships. And of course, because your Logi is so point heavy, you are then limited in what damage ships you can bring. So you're really relying on the piloting and not getting tackled. And unfortunately, in this case, they got tackled and they died. And that's them.
And that's that. It looks like we'll be going back to the arena. Or back to the studio, rather.